Entrepreneur Reid Hoffman once said, "If you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you've launched too late." At this point, you've pre-validated your business idea, built your minimum viable platform, and onboarded your first suppliers. Now, it's time to get customers on board too and start facilitating transactions. And you should do that as soon as possible. So let's talk about why that is and how to launch your marketplace. Startup guru Eric Ries says, "Here's a common question I get from startups, especially in the early stages. When should we launch?" My answer is almost always the same: don't. So when I talk about launching in this video, I'm not talking about a big bang marketing and PR launch. What I mean by launching is that you open your marketplace for business and start facilitating transactions between your users. This is where the actual learning begins. Does your marketplace truly provide value? With any type of product or website, you often hear the phrase, "launch as soon as possible." This is great advice, but why exactly? Well, the faster you launch, the faster you'll know if your marketplace has real potential. Launching early ensures that if you were to fail, you'll do so without wasting a huge amount of time and money. And if you find that potential, you'll start learning from your actual users sooner rather than later. You'll get valuable feedback early on and have the opportunity to iterate quickly and effectively. At this stage, your pivots might be big and you might need to change direction multiple times. It's better to start that learning process as soon as possible. Still, when your MVP is in its earliest stages, it's completely natural to feel some trepidation over launching it. You're probably still in build mode. Tinkering with something in the comfort of your own home is safe. Putting it in front of others can be daunting. But that's what you need to do. Push through the initial fear or embarrassment of launching your MVP, however unpolished, and you'll be a crucial step closer to operating a successful marketplace. But first, let's talk about finding your first customers. We touched on this briefly in the previous video on supplier onboarding, but let's take a closer look now. Even when you're focusing on supply, it's a good idea to talk to your demand as well. This means that at the time of launch, you might already have a pool of potential customers to invite. Start by looking into online and offline groups and communities dedicated to your initial constraint. Especially in the case of peer-to-peer platforms, these are probably the same ones where you found your suppliers. For example, if your marketplace is for selling pre-owned children's clothes, Facebook groups and other social media channels for parents, especially the environmentally and economically conscious ones, can be a great place to start. And if you've already accumulated a mailing list or have a community dedicated to your niche, you have your first customers right there. To find B2B marketplace customers, you'll also likely find them the same way you found your suppliers: cold calling, direct sales, visiting the companies, and taking part in related conferences and events. Or, if you expect your target customers will be searching for the products or services you offer online, using paid ads can be a good way to get initial traction. At this point, you only need to get a small number of people on board, so the budget can still be manageable, even for bootstrapping founders. And now, we move on to launching. There are two types of launches a marketplace can do: a big bang marketing launch and a product launch. Eric Ries's recommendation is not to combine them and instead do the product launch first. So what does that look like? Think back to liquidity, the key marketplace metric. It's better to have fewer customers who have their needs met rather than a large group who do not. Launching your marketplace does not mean launching it to the whole wide world. First, you open your platform to early adopters. Just like you spend time onboarding the best possible first suppliers, the quality of customers matters too. Ideally, they should be passionate about your category, mission, or the problem you're looking to solve for them. Pick the most enthusiastic people from your mailing list or community and invite them to sign up. Exclusivity is a great strategy for customers as well. Tell them they are the first people to get access to your fantastic platform and supply. Maybe entice them with a discount and ask for feedback in return. If there's a particularly influential social media influencer in your space, you could consider partnering with them and give their audience exclusive access. After your launch, every day is about learning and iterating on your offering. We'll talk more about how to do that in the next video, but basically, people need to understand your value proposition, find what they're looking for, and successfully transact on your platform. If you notice problems with any of these steps, make changes, invite new people on board, and see if that makes a difference. Does this mean that you shouldn't do a marketing launch at all? No, a marketing launch can bring a lot of benefits. such as it can be an affordable way to get your platform in front of many potential customers and suppliers, improving your chances at reaching liquidity. In addition, a successful launch boosts team morale and puts you in the radar of influencers, investors, future employees, and other important stakeholders. And getting featured in established publications through PR can help your rankings in search engines. The right time for a marketing launch is when you already know that your platform works for your initial constraint. This can still be a very small group of users, but for them, your messaging is understandable and you're able to solve their problem and facilitate real transactions. In other words, you'll want to do an all-out marketing launch only after reaching problem-solution fit, which we'll explore in more detail in the next video. And a marketing launch still does not mean blasting information about your marketplace across all possible channels to anyone who will listen. Instead, target your marketing efforts to promising channels where your target audience can see you. This can mean the mailing list you've collected, press, social media, online communities, and so on. Are you building a fashion marketplace? Strike up partnerships with style influencers. Are you a local marketplace? Look into PR possibilities with local media, and so on. Unless you're established or have a lot of funding, you likely won't be able to launch in multiple different channels at once. So launch through the right channel for you and do it well, rather than fail at many. And don't fret too much about it. Like Airbnb founder Brian Chesky advises, if you launch and no one notices, launch again. We launched 3 times. Let's recap what we've gone through in this video. Launching a marketplace means that you start facilitating transactions between your users. You should launch your marketplace as early as possible. This is when you'll actually see if your marketplace has potential and start learning from your users. To find your first customers, you might go to the same places where you found your suppliers, visit relevant online communities, and offline events. For business customers, cold calling and direct sales are still the classic approach. If you have a mailing list of interested customers, it's time to invite the most excited ones of them on board. To guarantee liquidity, it's not yet time for an all-out marketing launch. A marketing launch means launching with all you've got in relevant channels to your category or location. And finally, launching a marketplace is not a project, it's a process. You should constantly be iterating and adapting to better serve your supply and demand. In other words, your next step is to reach problem-solution fit. And we're doing that in the next video.